Well, Mark Cancian is a retired US Marine Colonel and Senior Advisor at Washington's Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thank you very much indeed, Colonel, for joining us today. So, Moscow threatening the end of relations with the United States if the Biden administration carries on seizing its assets. But isn't the relationship already beyond the point of no return?
Well, there's no question that the relationship is quite broken. Nevertheless, there are still a lot of linkages through treaties and international organizations. The Russians benefit from these relations just as much as the West and the United States, probably even more. Just to give one example, there's the hotline between Washington and Moscow to deconflict potential crises that benefits both sides.
So how significant is this new rhetoric from Moscow? What do you read into it?
Well, there's no question that Russia is very worried about this potential step. Seizure of assets would be a significant escalation in the economic war. Up until now, the Russian assets have been frozen. That is, Russia can't get at them. Russia still owns them. Seizure would take them away from Russia. It would make post-war recovery, post-war reconnection with the international economy that much more difficult. There's a strong moral case to be made for using these assets to reconstruct Ukraine, but it might be problematic in terms of the economic precedent.
The West has placed unprecedented economic, financial and diplomatic sanctions on Russia so far. Are those sanctions working, having much effect, do you think?
Well, there's no question the sanctions are having an effect on the Russian economy. That economy will contract at least 10%, maybe more in the year. Inflation is running about 17%. On the other hand, it doesn't seem to have affected Russia's actions during the war. Russia's war aims are still stated to be taking over the entire Ukraine.
So what does the future relationship look like between Moscow and Washington?
Well, the relationship, of course, will continue to be difficult. And the longer the war goes on, the more difficult it will become. On the other hand, even during the most hostile days of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union had a relationship, economic, diplomatic, military, and I expect that to continue with Russia. What may happen is it will become more transactional. That is, you do something for me, we'll do something for you.
And Mark, US basketball star Brittany Griner and the former Marine Paul Whelan still being detained in Russia. This new warning from Moscow can't be a good thing for their possible release, can it?
Well, the Russians might delay negotiations in any deal, but I think at the end, the Russians want to make a deal. They really want to get their arms dealer back, this Victor Bout. And I think after some time that the United States and Russia will make a deal, exchange the arms dealer for these two American citizens.
Mark Cancian from the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show.